Okay, so this is my 1970 E-Type Series 2 2+2 with the 4.2 litre. This is the final fitment of the Mangoletsi fuel injection system. I made an air filter box for it, which is just standard aluminium with the air filter foams inside, the 2 density foams, to give it some air cleaning, because the Gen V throttle bodies come with bell mouths but no air filter. I understand Mangoletsi are developing an air filter for them, but one wasn't available when I purchased the actual kit. The actual Emerald system itself is the ECU, which I fitted in this box, now all fitted and painted. And then of course you've got your swirl chamber here, you've got your fuel pump, high pressure fuel pump, the IMAP here, and also a secondary fuel filter. Everything fits quite neatly into the actual engine bay. I took the opportunity as well, while I was manufacturing the airbox, to put a breather pipe on it from the engine, and also to fit the air temperature sensor here. Now, the actual manifold itself that comes with the kit has 3 holes underneath which are tapped and blanked off, and that's for the temperature gauge, which you need to take off your old manifold, and for the new temperature switch, which actually runs the fans, although I've left the original temperature switch active as well as a backup in case one fails, because we all know E-types tend to have a bit of a habit of getting hot in traffic. The kit I got from Emerald also included the new throttle pedal, which is important because it's cable operated, and you have the pedometer on the end, which is essential because obviously that's what tells the ECU the position of the throttle pedal, so that everything maps and balances correctly. The other important thing I added to this car was the lambda sensor. Okay, the lambda sensor control box is here. Difficult to see, but the lambda sensor is down there on the exhaust pipe. Needed a bit of stainless steel welding because it comes with a boss that you need to weld onto your existing downpipes, so that the actual lambda sensor is the correct distance from the actual head itself to give the correct readings. I also took the opportunity while I was rebuilding it to replace the alternator with a modern alternator, which has got the regulator rectifier in it. I believe they come off a LDV Sherpa. It's quite a neat unit, fits pretty well straight on with very little modification, and it works fine. I mean, this job was complicated by the fact that this model it's a power assisted steering model. It's a right hand drive, although I do believe the car actually originally came from Canada, so things were a bit tight down in the engine bay. The final modification I did to it was to fit the trigger wheel, which is really difficult to see. It's there, that's down the bottom pulley of the engine, and the pickup sits there. Needed quite a bit of modification actually to the bracket that was sent with the kit, and I think it's because it was catching the adjuster for the fan belt, and also because with the power assisted steering box you've got quite a complicated pipe which takes the bottom radiator water past the actual power steering rack, so things down there, I say, are quite tight with the pipes as well from the power steering to the tower of the rack. I made this video simply because I couldn't find online anyone else who'd fitted the fuel injection system to the 4.2. I mean, people mentioned they'd fitted it and it gave much better driving characteristics, and it made it, the ECU makes it drive much more like a modern car. But I couldn't find anyone actually gave instructions of how they fitted it, where they fitted all the various components, how they all fitted, whether it was a straight fit or whether it needed adapting, etc. Hence why I thought, while I'm doing the installation, I might as well video as much of it as I possibly can. All in all, I'm quite pleased with it, and the good thing about it is it starts sort of straight out the box. When you fit it all in, if everything's right, it will start. The one problem I did have when I started it was that it was misfiring, but I traced that quite quickly down to a faulty coil pack, which Emerald replaced free of charge, obviously under warranty, and since then it's all been fine. So this is a cold start. Engine's not been run for about 3 days now. You can hear the pumps firing up because you do retain your original fuel pump from the tank to the actual glass bowl, and then from the glass bowl it's all modern and replaced for the high pressure system. there you go. Okay, the last thing to mention about this is that as soon as you get the engine running, you do need to adjust the timing, which involves plugging it into your laptop. The software comes with the Emerald kit. You plug it into the ECU and then you set your ignition timing. This is currently set about 9 degrees before top dead centre. Once I've done a few miles on it, it will then need to go on to the rolling road to be mapped properly. And again, one of the good things about the Emerald kit is that it comes with 3 maps preloaded, which is basically normal road driving up to your track day fun. The Gen V throttle bodies come supplied with these metric Allen keys, Allen nuts should I say. You have to discard them because the Mangoletsi manifold is actually tapped with a UNF thread, and it comes in this little packet. So you need to put all the studs in before you start assembling the throttle bodies. Okay, all the injector bodies are now installed. The only issue to be careful of is on these particular joints here, the rose joints, the bolts were too long and they were touching, so I had to put a spacer washer either side. You also need to make sure you put a washer between the rose joint and the actual lever, otherwise this part here catches the throttle body, which stops you getting the butterfly valve fully open inside. Okay, now we're going to fit the air idle control valve, which helps it tick over. It comes with an O-ring, but as there's no O-ring slot cut in the actual manifold, Mangoletsi comes with this gasket. So you need to take the O-ring off, put the gasket on, fit the studs in the head, in the manifold, and then install it. Okay, so the idle air control valve's now fitted. So that's all the injector heads